benefits of a trim. So I don't even know, where do we start with the benefits? Well, truthfully, the hair that's on the bottom or toward the end of hair is the oldest hair on your head. So it's telling the story of all the trauma that could have been going on. So it's good to get your ends trimmed just to get the dead hair off. When you start to see it spreading, separating from each other, and that's why it's good to use a white cape as a stylist suit, because you will be able to see wherever areas you can see through the hair. Typically that's the weakest parts of the hair, and it's good to get it off of there so it doesn't travel up the hair shaft and interrupt the progress that's happening with the new growth. So it's good to get your hair trimmed. I say as needed. Some people say 4 to 6 weeks. Some say longer. You say, would you?
I don't have no hair.
But the good thing about it is if you do regular trims, trims can sometimes turn into quote unquote dustings, which is just a real cleanup around the perimeter kind of thing. And sometimes you don't have to get so interior with the cut, or the trim rather, if you do it regularly.
I can't wait to get to the dusting phase.
Yeah, so that's why regular trims are necessary. And trimming can sometimes come from not sealing the cuticle sometimes, so the cuticle is just open. So over time, you know, weather get into it, the elements, all of that get into the hair to where you'll need a trim, or it could be overuse of heat and the ends just being dry, or the ends being dry because they're not being moisturized, whether you're natural, relaxed, you know, wearing a straight. And especially for those who are curly, it's so easy not to trim curly hair because you don't notice it because the hair is being, you know, it's curly. So yeah, that's what I would say. It's very beneficial to get your ends trimmed. It keeps the hair looking healthy and just getting that dead hair off of there. There's nothing worse than somebody, especially wearing straight hair, and those ends looking raggedy. It just doesn't look good. All in all. So, and I know people have a fear of getting trimmed, particularly in the black community, because they're like, stylists get scissor happy. But I think it's important to just show the client what's going on, because most of the time they're just not educated about what's going on, and having that conversation about, okay, this is what I see, what do you see, and then proceed from there. And a trim should be, you know, a cut in the sense of you walking out with a whole new hairstyle. Like you came down with hair by your shoulders, then you then came out with a bob. Like, oh, how did we get here? So I try to do my best to communicate. So your hair grows like in a V. So another thing with sometimes we do as stylists is we try to just even it out across, and like that's not what you should do. You gotta definitely go with how the hair grows.
And I appreciate that too.
Yeah, because if we keep trying to trim it or cut it to one length and your hair doesn't grow like that, you ain't never gonna have you know, length retention. But yeah, so my recommendation for sure is like all this needs to come off. Yeah. And then we'll get into the interior of your trim too. But over time, you just where you see these little pieces, partly is curl, and then just making sure you're keeping your cuticle sealed and moisturized, and your hair, you know, your strands moisturized. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be taking off.
Oh Lord.
Sharp shears also make a difference, because a lot of times when our shears aren't sharp, we can create split ends. Yeah, dull shears create split ends.
Well, Lord.
Yeah, so that's important to know. And make sure you have great posture. That is also important. And so when your hair gets to your shoulders here soon, let's get that over your hair, you'll then move from sitting down to standing up. Because what happens is sometimes when we trim hair, we try to trim with everybody sitting down when they have shoulder length and longer hair, and we're messing up the trim because we're not accounting for the shoulders. So it's good for people to stand up. Alright,
So where are we about to cut? You said it's like a
He said, what was it? You was about to have a Bible, but I was getting ready to cut.
Ooh, my bad.
So you're back. So technically with the split end, you're right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But realistically where you should be is here. So this is where you were and this is where you shall be.
Ooh, this is where you shall be. So looking at this hair that came out, you can see already all these knots that were in here. These single strand knots that were just not allowing my twist outs, my braid outs,
To be great.
just everything to be great. This is why you had to go. You had to go. It feels it just feels so much better going like this. Like, cause normally I'd be like, okay, push it out. But now I can just go through smoothly.
Good.
Jesus. Ooh, I'm just
You did it.
thankful. I'm thankful I done made it.
You made it.
When?
So yes. See that was I'm done. I was just like you snapped them scissors up real Where you going? No, I was just doing a little white. That's all. Where you going? I thought we was done.
Thought you was going back inside, but say no wait. Yes. Okay.
My turn. So I'm Nigel Mask, also known as Nigel's Gifted Hands. I can be found on Instagram at Nigel's Gifted Hands and also on Facebook with the same name. I'm located at 3825 Edwards Road at Salons by JC Suite 25. And I just want to let everybody know, do not be afraid to get your ends trimmed. They are your best friend. It helps your hair grow, get rid of the dead hair, get a good stylist that has good shears. Encourage them to use a white cape so they can see what's going on. But healthy hair also starts with what you eat, what you drink, and how you treat your body on the inside. That's what's going to come out on the outside. So make sure you're taking care of your hair, trim as needed, some 4 to 6 weeks, some longer, whatever the case may be. Just get on a regimen and stick to it. Consistency is key. So you can find me on www.styleseat.com/Nigel's Gifted Hands. That's how you can find me and book your consultation today.